Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here today on our Friday review podcast of the Cabral Concept, episode 2352. We've got some brand new product reviews coming to you today. I'll be sure to get to that book review and the herb of the week, which you can just take as a tea. Very simple to be able to consume that. You can also take it as a capsule, but every once in a while, it's nice to have some tea or something else besides capsules, of course. What else do I have for you? Podcast recap of the week. Really great research on optimal heart health and how many people in the U.S. are actually at optimal. And then very interesting on responses that happen in the body when you see food, your meal, before you even consume it. So I'm going to give you that research as well. So excited about that. I always do with a recap of the week, and as I'm about to knock down all of these labs on my desk here. Hopefully you saw them. These are the brand new lab boxes that we're slowly rolling out over Equilife. Again, if you want to watch this on video, right on YouTube, it's just Stephen Cabral. We would love you to subscribe over there. And you can always catch the daily videos on my website as well at stephencabral.com/podcast. But these are our brand new designs. They're all color-coded, kind of based on category. The one that I'm just holding in my hand is the new progesterone-based lab, the single lab. All of these are, of course, as you probably know, completely free for Ayubowen members. Every 90 days, they get a brand new free lab. If you haven't heard about that yet, I would definitely check it out. That's at stephencabral.com/Ayubowen, and that's just AYUBOWAN. But let's talk about what are the updates for the week. And the big thing that I wanted to share with you is now that we've been doing the podcast for a little bit now, and we just passed 40 million downloads, and really right now about 3 million downloads per month. And so for me to say that is absolutely incredible, because when I first started the podcast, we were getting about 100 downloads per day. And now it's gone from 100 downloads per day, 100 downloads per day to maybe 100,000 downloads per day. From 3,000 downloads a month to 3 million downloads a month, and I have you to thank for that. So really appreciate it. My goal is to simply, as I've said, teach. And when it was 100 people listening a day, I was totally fine with that, and it didn't discourage me. I was glad that 100 people listened. And I was in my Boston practice, and I was, I'd finish up with my wellness clients for the day, or I would be in and out of a meeting, or I'd find a break at lunch and I would record. And I just felt that it was important to be able to share this information for no other reason than to share this information. So, when I was first starting out with the podcast, there was no online presence. It was just me. It was my website. You could sign up for my newsletter if you wanted to, but it was my 2 Boston practices. I was seeing wellness clients. We were seeing, and still do to this day. We see still about 20,000 appointments a year to this day. But that's what we were doing back then. And it was all in practice at my 2 different locations. And I was super busy, working 80 hours a week. And I love my job. I love my job to this day. I love not working 80 hours a week as well. But, what I wanted to share with you is that the mission's just never changed. It's just the platform is bigger, and it's allowed me to reach more people, and that was always the goal. So now I feel like I'm really living, what I was meant to do, and I was meant to help people one-on-one, and I was now meant to oversee a team that's able to help now see 20,000 people a year. But then that's just labs. But the other great thing is that I'm still in it every day. I look over all the hard cases. I'm looking at the specific questions that our health coaching team has, and I'm teaching the integrative health practitioners, anybody who signs up for the IHP, health coaching certification, the next generation, the future of health coaching as well. And I love that. So just wanted to thank you. It's the podcast, it's the support that we receive all over the world. And we're always just trying to do more. We're really just trying to help you in the greatest degree possible. The app is an extension of that. The app costs so much to be able to create We hired a whole design team, and it's not even finished. Like, it's finished, it's out there, but there's so much more I want to be able to do and help so many more practitioners to then help so many more people. So I'm excited about it. I mean, I really am. I really love this industry, and I'm so excited for what the next 6 months holds for the second half of the year, and then of course the years to come. So just thank you, appreciate you. I'm also going to be telling you about all sorts of different fun partnerships that we're creating in this industry with big companies doing big things, and we're like, we love what you're doing. How can we promote you and introduce you? And then also, hey, what can we do together that we would never be able to do on our own, so that we can reach more people? So I love doing those things. And one of those things is IHP. So we have the event. We have our first live event in 2.5 years, because our first one got canceled. Well, we had one in Australia, and then it got canceled that next fall because of the pandemic. And so now we're back, and we are inviting our IHP community to that live event. Pre-sale tickets actually end this coming week. So yeah, we love that. We love being able to meet people in person. And so that's for IHP. If you're an integrative health practitioner, definitely would love to see you at the event. And who knows, maybe next year we'll actually be doing some Equilife based events too. So I'm not against it. If people want it, I'm all for it. So that's that. All right, what's going on over at Equilife this week? We have our holidays in July. We have our semi-annual sale. It only happens twice a year. So we have one in November, very end of November, for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then we have our July sale that we just started doing last year. So it's our semi-annual sale. So we don't do store-wide sales. You'll never find them. We have everyday low prices. Remember, we're a functional medicine formulation company, which means our products are just, again, we're not the only company, by the way, right? But our products are just a higher quality. That's just the bottom line. Meaning, like, you'll see us using 3, 4, 5 ingredients minimum per product. Just the highest quality, third-party testing, non-GMO, certified GMP, FDA-based facilities. Meaning, like, we don't work, of course, with the FDA, but that's the regulation standard. NSF-based facilities. And so much more. So anyway, that's going on right now. You can save up to 25%, which I would certainly take advantage of it. And if you're not on our SMS text list, I definitely would, because we're going to be having 2 or 3 flash sales, which is only available for SMS text. You can find that at equi.life, equi.life/text to sign up for those notifications. And then you can just head on over to stevencabral.com/shop for everything on sale right now, up to 25% off, and sometimes even more. All right, so that is that. Let's go over our podcast recap of the week. On Monday, that was episode 2348, is what are the stories you tell yourself about yourself? And these are again, this topic's so important because the reason is that people aren't where they want to be in their life because of the stories they are telling themselves every single day. And again, I told myself the same stories for many years, so I get it. It's not like I have any special soapbox to stand on. I don't. I just want to help people reach their full potential. That's the bottom line. Definitely check out that show if you haven't. The next episode on Tuesday was these 18 biomarkers predict an early death. Definitely check out this. I mean, like, I'm telling you right now, I believe in all the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda, TCM, traditional naturopathy, bioregulatory medicine, et cetera, but I combine that with state-of-the-art science and research. I think that's the best of all worlds. I really do. We know why disease is created in the body. We do. We know why people die early. Please, listen to these podcasts. It's not, there's nothing to purchase, nothing like that. Just listen to these specific markers. You can run them with your PCP and your MD. They may not know really how to read them, to be honest with you, but you'll be able to. And that's why knowledge is power. And you just want to be able to apply it in the right way. All right, Wednesday's show is these 2 common practices damage and thin out your hair. Definitely check that out. And the reason is this is all by popular demand. I had no idea that it would be this popular. So I know that obviously regrowing hair and strengthening your hair is important, but because of COVID, because of all sorts of different things, people are losing their hair at a much faster degree. And so I share with people, actually my team has, we put together, I wrote this massive research document. So I wrote a massive research document, and it was all on how I've been helping people in my practice for over a decade to help stop hair loss, stop thinning hair, regrow hair in many, many cases. And then I wasn't even planning on publishing this or using it because I thought it was a lot of information. Then it happened to me just 6 months ago, and I had to use my own process to help regrow my hair, and I share that as well. So not on that particular podcast. This one's on, 2 common practices that damage the hair. But if you want to find out more, we'll probably send this out in an email. But you can hear about it first, right? So if you're part of my Instagram, I know I'm sharing it there, and I share it here on the podcast. But go to stephencabral.com/hair-loss. I'll try to link it up today. I'll try to link everything up today at stephencabral.com/2352. But I have a whole article there on the 7 reasons why men and women lose their hair. Okay, 1 main reason for men, 6 other reasons for women. And then the top, it's like a half dozen things, because you could do so many different things to help regrow your hair, stop your hair loss. But I gave you the things that actually work. Like I gave you the things that unequivocally work based on science, and they worked for myself as well, right? So, all right. The book review, well, we've got one more, and then I'll go over my book review. So on yesterday's show, got back to my roots with exercise, and I share with you, is time under tension the answer for amazing body transformation results? Definitely check that out. That was a fun show, a little bit of a throwback show, and so definitely check that out. If you're looking to reshape your body in any way, this is the key. It really is. It's the key. All right. So I wanted to bring you a different type of book today before we get to our herb of the week. I want to do my book review first. So a lot of people have heard me say, and maybe not fully understanding, because I don't think that I, fully understand either, but I do believe that healing in the future, I don't think we're anywhere near there. I just don't think we are. But I believe that healing in the future is going to happen more on an energy-based level. Now, what does that mean? Well, I think it's going to happen more at a cellular quantum level. And I think it is going to happen with some type of sound, some type of frequency. It's going to happen in a different way. Do I know how? No, I don't. I don't want to profess that I do. But the reason is that when we look at our body, we're looking at basically an energetic being. We are looking at predominantly like 99+% space. We see matter, but that's not in that's what we feel in maybe physical reality, but not in a more of a quantum-based reality of where we're literally molecules moving around in space. So the other thing I look at is the body is essentially 2/3 water. And I'm looking at how sound frequency, reality right now, and structuring of water, these things change. We know how the sun affects our body. So what I'm trying to say is this, is that I don't think that we know yet. We've got a lot of information, but I don't think that we can consistently get results with energy-based medicine. Now, do I believe that biofeedback, breath work, Reiki, meditation, going outside, grounding, all of those things work? 100%. And is that working on energy-based? Yeah, 100% it is. So it's not that I don't believe that. I do, right? I even believe that heat and infrared and all of these things help. So that's energy in a way. But I think that there's a deeper level to it that we can learn and understand. And so I've done a lot of reading over the years. So it's not that I'm a novice, but I'm not an expert by any shape, way, or form. So not an expert in that, and certainly don't profess to be. I do what I do, which is reading labs, every type of lab essentially imaginable, and trying to get that to people at home, and then being able to offer protocols that I know work, that are replicable. But like I said, I keep an open mind, and I believe the future, and I don't think it's here for a while, is going to be some type of energy-based medicine. Because it's going to get at the heart of the body, not just the heart itself, but the heart, the root of us. So this book is called Human Design, a revolutionary new system for revealing the DNA of your true nature. And so it says, discover the person you were born to be. This book is interesting as well because it's basically sharing with you, and I just literally lost the page again, but it's basically showing you the 9 centers, okay, the 36 channels, and the 64 gates. Okay, so again, I'm familiar with chakras. I'm familiar with energy centers within the body. I'm familiar with the Ayurvedic Marma points. I'm familiar with the traditional Chinese medicine meridians. And so I'm familiar, but this goes a little bit deeper. And this talks a lot about, it talks some about physics. It talks about astrophysics and different things that are quite interesting. But here's the thing. when I was reading it and when I was looking at it, I said, you know what? Because I didn't know if I would recommend this book. I don't recommend a lot of the, I read some obscure textbooks too, some older ones. I just obviously don't recommend those. And I've recommended, I don't know, maybe 500 books over the Cabral concepts and certainly at least 150 inside of IHP. But here's the thing. This is not just about like different learning about your chakras and energy systems. It's actually unlocking certain traumas, limitations that we feel in life, and helping us to live our best and happiest and healthiest life. So I love that. And so for anybody, this is absolutely worth reading. Does it get into like different like TCM-based profiles and some of the Vedic-based thinking? Yes, but it's very approachable, very easy to read, and it kind of goes through channel by channel, center by center. So if you're looking for something different to read, I would check this out. It's called Human Design by Chetan Parkin, and I apologize if that was pronounced incorrectly. So there it is. I'll link it up today at stephencabral.com/2352. Just let me know if there's ever any books that you're interested in having reviewed. All right, next up is our herb of the week. You will have heard me spoken about this before in a special type of tea that I've talked about. But what I want to do is share with you a specific herb that's called the herb, so it's called the queen of all herbs. And PubMed, believe it or not, has a specific study on it. And I'm going to see if I can find it for you that gives it its own term, which I loved. An herb for all reasons. So it's called Tulsi, also known as holy basil. But in Ayurveda, it's the queen of all herbs. Like it is the herb, right? And so then in PubMed, again, this is a published study. Okay, the study was published on, October 2014, and this is in the Journal of Ayurvedic Integrative Medicine. It has all links to all sorts of different backed up scientific studies. There is, let's see how many. I mean, this is a big article. Let's see how many studies there are. There are, wow, this is tremendous, 133 cited studies. So I just want to stop. Let me just pause here for 1 second to share this with you. So one of the interesting things is there are people out there telling you that plants are toxic, humans shouldn't eat them, and they sound very convincing, right? But be very careful of these people. Be very, very careful. We've known forever that herbs are true medicine. We've known forever. So much so that when I was in India and I was at one of my internships with Dr. Moriari in the foothills of the Himalayas, there were almost, from what I was told and what I actually saw, I didn't see every pharmaceutical company, of course. I saw pharmaceutical companies speaking with some of the Vedas, the Ayurvedic doctors, and actually studying these herbs. Why? Because about 50% of all pharmaceuticals derive from plant-based foods. We have to understand is that we've known for 6,000 plus years that herbs are healing. Well, whether you're in South America, okay, you've got herbs from South America, North America, India, China, literally all over the world, people have been using herbs for thousands of years. And now we've got people with medical degrees telling us that plants are somehow toxic. Be very careful. Be very, very careful listening to these people. So what I share with you is this. Why do I share that with you? Is because an herb like Tulsi or holy basil has so many benefits. Not a couple, but so many. It's been shown. Let me just give you some of these specific studies. Okay. Let me give you how does it work? So how does an herb work? Well, inside of the herb, it has certain compounds. Inside of Tulsi, or also called holy basil, it has eugenol, it has camphor, it has camphene, it has cineol. These are all specific, what you might call plant toxins that actually make it beneficial. So it helps with pain reduction. It helps with bronchitis. It helps with skin rashes like eczema. It helps with eye diseases. It can help with insect bites and itchiness. It can help with ulcers. It can help to reduce stress and anxiety. It can help boost metabolism. It can help improve endurance. It can help improve sleep problems due to stress. It can help with sexual problems. It helps with memory. It can help with stamina and fatigue. It acts as an antibacterial. It acts as an antiviral. It acts as an an antifungal. It can act as an anti-inflammatory. It can act as an analgesic for pain. It can help with raised scars or keloid bodies on the skin. It can help with mouth ulcers. It can help with acne. It can help with high cholesterol. It can help with insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. It can help with hypertension. I already named that can help lower bad cholesterol, LDL cholesterol. It can help with joint pain. It can help with stomach acid-based issues. You can use it on your skin. I mean, it's unbelievable. These are all scientifically backed. And I'm going to link it up for you, so you don't have to worry about it. I'll give it there. And if you want to check it all out, definitely check it all out. So why do I bring this up? Because honestly, it's not the only reason why it's frustrating for me, because I honestly don't really care too much what other people do and they say and they profess. That's their prerogative. I just don't want people held back from actually healing themselves by listening to people who, say all you should eat is meat, or, that's what I used to believe, but now all you should eat is meat and fruit and honey and raw milk now. And then next year I'll be like, okay, but yeah, and these vegetables are okay, but those ones aren't, right? It's like, it just changes every year. Be very careful. That's all that I'm saying. All right. Tulsi, amazing herb, absolutely amazing herb. Every single Friday I'm trying to bring you an herb of the week. One way that you can get it is just with a tea like this one right here. One of my favorites, it's called organic Tulsi with ginger. You can have it with meals, 1 cup at lunch, 1 cup at dinner if you'd like to. This one's by Traditional Medicinals is the name of the company. It's caffeine free. And it can be a great digestive aid. So there you have it. If you're someone that doesn't do well with ginger because of maybe histamine issues, certainly you could just do straight Tulsi tea or holy basil tea. We also include it in our InflammaSoothe, part of our anti-aging based system. And just, again, it's just such a great product. So, all right, there you have it. And again, I'll link up the scientific studies for you. So next up, our research of the week. Only 1 in 5 people in the United States has optimal heart health. And you know what? I would say that I'm not happy about that, but I'm not surprised. And the reason is that it's still the #1 cause of early death in the United States and just death in general. So what are the factors, though, they are assessing for people's optimal heart health? Well, besides all the, inflammation markers and all that I chatted about actually earlier in this week, it looked at what causes heart disease or what causes poor heart health. It's diet, it's physical activity, smoking in general, so nicotine exposure, sleep duration, body mass index, blood lipids, such as your cholesterol, your blood glucose, so it's your blood sugar, and your blood pressure, right? So what are we really talking about? We're talking about type 2 diabetes or dysregulated blood sugar, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and then also obesity. Those are the leading causes of early mortality, and that affects the heart. So a lot of people, again, they try to push back against high cholesterol. I've already explained that last week as well. It is a factor for some people, not all people, but it is a factor for some people. So do you know if it's a factor for you? A lot of people don't, right? Like, it's like, well, like you can say no, but it actually might affect you, right? You might be part of that 26% or so of the population. And then also body mass index. Again, I'm not talking about like elite athletes. I'm talking about general population. So I think it's really important that we do take this serious, because I was chatting with my health coaching team today as well. And like, it's like, we know how to live. We don't know how to live to 120 yet. So I don't want to say that we do, but we know how to live into your late 80s and 90s. We know how to do that. We do. We really do. So, because the reason is that average age is 74 to 77 years old. And that's with all of the disease that we have right now in the United States. So we're still keeping people alive to that time. But, obviously that's an average. That's a median for an adult. So some people are obviously dying in their 50s and 60s, and some people in their 80s, 90s. But, more people, if they're healthy, they live till their late 80s, and so that's kind of how I look at it. And so we just have to make sure that we're controlling what we can control. And we don't have to control a lot. We really don't. Like normal lipid panel, that's not too much to ask. That shouldn't be controversial, right? Healthy blood pressure, less than 120/80. And blood glucose, okay, fasting glucose, keep it below 90, right? Hemoglobin A1C, keep it below 5.6, 5.7, right? So like these aren't crazy things. Like this is not wild information, but if you do that, your results are going to be fantastic. Like that, it's going to lead to that. That's the first part. All right, I could talk about that all day, and I'm going to do another show on this as well. So we'll talk about that more in depth. And of course, I'm going to link all these studies up. All right, the second one is this. It was titled this. Well, I'll give you the inflammatory sensationalistic headline. Then I'm like, I have to read this. It said the mere sight of a meal triggers an inflammatory response in the brain. It's like, whoa, well, what's this all about? So I went over to the article, and it said, even before food reaches the bloodstream, the very sight and smell of a meal triggers the release of insulin. For the first time, researchers from the University of, let's call it Basel, and University Hospital Basel, maybe it's Basel, have shown that this insulin release depends on a short-term inflammatory response that takes place in these circumstances. In overweight individuals, however, this inflammatory response is so excessive, it can impair insulin secretion. Wow, right? I mean, it just goes to show you that it's a brutal cycle, because as you gain more weight, you actually produce more estrogen, you produce more cortisol, producing less of the positive-based hormones that keep you balanced, and you're producing more inflammation. Then this inflammation is actually hurting you from producing normal amounts of insulin, which then causes you to gain even more weight, and you're just much more sensitive to higher protein meals or higher carbohydrate meals. So it's very interesting. I mean, this is important research. That's why, again, best of the ancient wisdom, best of the current science, and this is really important to look at this. So it's called interleukin-1 beta, I believe. It's IL-1B. Let me see if the B stands for beta. I'm pretty sure that it does. Again, I'm going to link up the science for you. So let's see. I'm pretty sure it's beta to have to do with the beta cells of the pancreas, right? Because the beta cells of the pancreas are producing the insulin. So, all right, well, I'll link that up for you. And the actual study was called the cephalic phase of insulin release is modulated by IL-1B. So there you have it. And IL-1B is just the inflammatory interleukin. So it's called an interleukin. That is the inflammatory response. Now, it's not abnormal, but it's interesting because this is what's happening in the body before we even eat the food. Right before we eat the food. And so then I saw some articles say, well, this is why you shouldn't eat carbohydrates. But it's not true, because I looked at the study that was being done, which again, like that's why you have to go deeper and you have to be careful what you read online. Because I like to know, I'm like, all right, well, what were these mice in this study eating? Well, so they were eating chow. They were eating mice chow or mice pellets. And I couldn't get the exact formula, but it was something like soybean, corn, wheat, soybean oil, molasses, oats, alfalfa meal, beet pulp, flax seeds, wheat germ, brewer's yeast. And then I looked at another one that says could be anywhere from 40 to 6% corn flour starch, 20% protein, and then could be anywhere from 10 to 40% fat. So it might be a little less starch, a little bit more fat, about 20% protein. So not wildly different than like the standard American diet, right? Like, so anyway, I wanted to share that with you because I found this really interesting, because Ayurveda also says that by even touching, eat with your hands. I'm not telling you to eat with your hands, but the sensation, the body knows what to do. The body knows what to do. It knows what to secrete. So I think that this is an important factor for us to begin to look at. So hopefully this was helpful. That is my time for today. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning into the Cabral Concept, and I'll be back tomorrow with our Cabral House Calls. Take care, everyone. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing, and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.